And they filled out a census thing, and here are the results. So again, we have row totals, we have column totals, and we have a table total. And we're always going to be using this table total over here down at the bottom, so don't forget about that. And we get started, and we construct an appropriate graph to do this. Now, because we're comparing two things all the way across the board, we're going to need to find a proportion of all these things, or in other words, we're going to have to find out, like 54, what is this for its proportion total? So I'm going to do that first and write down the total so you can kind of see how I got this distribution chart. I'm going to do bar graphs. And so the UK 54 out of the 200 is the same as 0.27. So I'm just going to write these down on the side. 0.27 for the UK, 0.26. So that was flying, and then freeze time, 0.15 for invisibility, 0.10 for super strength, and 0.22 for telepathy. And those should total up to 100, hopefully. Hopefully I didn't make an error there. And then for the US, I get 0.21, 0.20, 0.17, 0.11, and 0.31. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the UK versus the US for their distribution. So as I make my table, the highest proportion that I see is 0.31, so I'm going to go with, this is 0.10, 0.20, 0.30, and these are the proportion of children 9 to 17. And then I probably should do each of the different kinds. So there was flying, there was freeze time, there was invisibility, super strength, and telepathy. And I should have a key, and since I used red and blue, the red will represent the UK, and the blue, you can use different things, like if you don't have colors, you could obviously do like stripes and circles or something, will be the US. So if I look at just the UK, to start out with, I know that the UK for flying was 27, so I would put a bar going up to about 27. For freeze time, it was 26. For invisibility, it was 15. For super strength, it was 10. And for telepathy, it was 22. And it might be helpful to the reader of your test, like we've done in the past with bar graphs or even histograms, if you put the number at the top, like 0.27. It's not required, especially if you displayed that information somewhere else, but it definitely leaves no doubt to the reader of your test what's going on. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the US. So in the US, it was 21 for the flying, for its proportion, 20 for the freeze time, it was 17 for invisibility, for the super strength, it was 11. And for the telepathy, it was 31. Wow, they really like the telepathy in the US. And so this is displaying our categorical data of the UK and the US's flying time, freeze time, invisibility, super strength, and telepathy. So you can see them side by side. So in this last part, this is going from start to finish. So HO, there is no difference. In the distribution. Of superpower preferences between the UK and US for 9, was it to 17-year-olds? And then of course HA is, there is a difference. Blah, 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 blah. Next, we will do a chi-square test for homogeneity. Do they tell us an alpha anyway? No. Alpha equal 0.05. We're always going to use 0.05 unless they tell us. We have 2 random samples from the UK, which was I think 200 if I remember, and the US, which was 215. For the large sample size, we have to look at all counts. I'm just going to say yes for right now, and I can do that off to the side in a second here. All counts are greater than or equal to 5. And to see if they're independent, the population of 9 to 17-year-olds is greater than or equal to 10 times our samples. You probably should actually write them out and see what they are, but to save space on the whiteboard, I'm not going to. So like you could say, oh, there's 200 from the UK. Do we have at least 2,009 to 17-year-olds? Yep. And do we have at least 2,150 from the US? Yep. So you know that they're independent. And then I probably should have done the expected counts. I will do that off to the side in just a little bit. I'm just going to actually do the math first. And remember, we can use our lists to do this. So maybe I'll just do the table now. So let's see. So let's do our expected counts. So from our expected counts, we had the UK and the US. We had, what was it, flying time, right? Freeze time. We had invisibility, super strength, and telepathy. For the UK, when I did mine, I got 47.7, 46.3, 32.3, 20.7, and 53. And then for the US, I had 51.3. I think 40. I think 49.7. That might be, I'm not sure about that one, so take a look, see if this is correct later on. 34.7. 22.3, and 57. And again, this was by taking all those proportions and then multiplying by the number that was in the group, 200 or 215. With me so far? Okay. It is? Okay, thank you very much. So now we do our chi-square. when we do the chi-square, show the reader that you know what's going on. So this was, again, the sum of all of our observed minus expected values squared divided by our expected values. Set it up, kind of show them you know what's going on. With this many different ones, I don't know that I would write them all out. I think that if you show them the pattern, they understand that you know what was going on. So you would start out with like 54, which was your observed, minus that 47.7, which is over there, squared, all over the 47.7. And then, like the next one would be the 45 minus that 51.3 squared, all over the 51.3. And then maybe go dot, dot, dot. Show the last one in the pattern, which I think I get as, what's the last one on the table? 66? 66 minus 57, thank you, 57 squared all over 57. So that's your total for your chi-square. And this is again where we put the stuff, the observed in list 1, the expected in list 2, go through that process like we did earlier. And you find out that your chi-square is equal to 6.29. And then I also need my degrees of freedom. So looking at my degrees of freedom, we had 2 rows and 5 rows and 2 columns. So 5 minus 1 is 4, 2 minus 1 is 1, 4 times 1 is 4. So I know my degrees of freedom is equal to 4. So when I'm trying to find my p-value, I know this is going to be equal to the chi-CDF of 6.29, comma 99, comma 4, and I get a p-value of 0.179. And this again is where we draw our conclusion, and we see that our p-value is more than alpha of 0.05. So we say our sampling results, or one more extreme, would occur 17.9% of the time if HO were true. Since our p-value of 0.179 is greater than alpha equal to 0.05, we fail to reject HO. Am I talking too fast? No. That is, we don't have convincing evidence that there is a difference in superpower preferences between the United States and the UK children ages 9 to 17.